On this week's political figure episode, we got the man from Minnesota who's making the racists irate, Mr. Omar Fateh. Normally, I wouldn't be doing one of these political figure episodes on a state senator and candidate for mayor, but his candidacy is a bit unprecedented, slightly paralleled to another current mayoral race, and he makes racists irrationally angry simply by existing. And if by making this video, I can make even one racist cunt have a coronary, it's worth the time and effort. See, Omar Mahmoud Fateh was born April 19th, 1990 in Washington, D.C. to Somali immigrant parents. As a child, he spent his summers in Minneapolis. I'm assuming they had some family or connections here because Minnesota has a pretty sizable Somali community. He got his undergrad from George Mason University, and he moved to Minneapolis in 2015. In 2020, he ran for the Minnesota State Senate in the 62nd District, challenging a Democratic incumbent. And this is a big deal that's turning out to be a trend because he got the DFL endorsement. The DFL is the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. It's kind of like your Democratic Party wherever you're from. It's just ours is, cooler. It's not very often that a party will endorse any candidate running in a primary, and even less common that they'll endorse somebody running against an incumbent. So that's a big deal, and he won. He got right to work that first session, authoring 54 bills, even though the Senate was controlled by Republicans. He even got a few of them passed, one of them being removing fentanyl testing strips from being classified as drug paraphernalia. And the passage of that bill, coupled with organizing efforts to get fentanyl testing strips into the community, has reduced overdoses dramatically. He's written legislation for free college tuition, for hunger-free campuses. He's written pro-union legislation, minimum wage guarantee legislation, chaired the Senate Higher Education Committee, and vice-chaired the Human Services Committee. He's done a lot in 4 years, and as a self-described democratic socialist, his legislation has shown just how popular a lot of these policies are. And he seems to have the right stances on just about everything. He wants more robust public education. He thinks that, feeding kids is a good thing. He wants better public transit, believes in investing in affordable housing and rent freezes. He believes in environmental justice, civil rights, women's rights to bodily autonomy, taxing the rich, workers' unions. I really haven't found a stance from him I'm not a big fan of. And now he is running for mayor of Minneapolis against longtime incumbent Jacob Fry. And Omar, the Democratic Socialist, has once again received the DFL endorsement for mayor against an incumbent. And this is once again huge because not only is this the first time the DFL has endorsed a mayoral candidate in almost 2 decades, while other state parties are out here bitching and moaning and trying to sabotage Democratic Socialists that have legitimately won their state primaries like they're doing to Zoran over in New York, the DFL is actively endorsing progressive candidates against shitty incumbents. Because like I said, our party is better than yours. I keep telling you guys, if you're not doing it like Minnesota, you're doing it wrong. And this endorsement is making racists nationwide completely lose their shit. Seriously, they're posting shit like this all over the internet. Oh, Minnesota has fallen. This is an ideological takeover in the blueprint for the rest of blue states because, brown people. And when I remind them that the racism is showing because Minnesota is a top 10 state in almost everything you'd want to be a top 10 state in, like quality of life, environment, health, happiness, economic opportunity, fiscal stability. Dudes that look like Joshua Hall here have complete cap locks meltdowns, saying that it's going to become a shithole third world country like Shitmalia because, Muslims are bad or something. Then when I point out they're a racist, he says again in cap locks, like, fuck you, dipshit. It's not racist to want to stand up and fight for your race, which, I feel is kind of the definition of racism, but okay. See, Omar makes it so they just can't keep the quiet part in anymore. And when a dude who looks like that can't stop screaming racist misspelled shit in cap locks, there's really nothing else you can say besides, okay, boomer. And it turns out that cracker is a snowflake because that really triggered him. Because apparently he's only 38 years old, which goddamn, those are some city miles. Motherfucker's aging worse than a roadkill raccoon on a Georgia interstate in July. I guess it's true what they say, hate ages you, because he don't look a day under 60. We're damn near the same age. I'm 5 years younger to this guy, and it looks like his kid should be driving him to his prostate appointments, which to be fair, he's probably already going because, he looks old enough to be, and it's likely the only way he can get any human contact. At least that his insurance will cover, because I highly doubt he can afford to hire the Lindsey Graham kind of contact. Anyway, I'm done ragging on the racists for now. I just want them to know they're actually increasing my support for Omar. Because while I have no horse in this race because I don't live in Minneapolis, I did have Jazz Hampton, another Minneapolis mayoral candidate, on our Let Them Eat Toast podcast, and I love him. Minneapolis would be lucky to have him. He's also got all the right stances on policy. He puts in the work for the right reasons. He's educated, and he gave me the time of day for an interview, and I didn't know much about Omar, so Jazz had 100% of my support. And I still wouldn't know much about Omar if he hadn't been making the racist rage so ridiculously. So now it's great. Minneapolis has a couple great candidates to choose from and nothing to lose because they've got ranked choice voting. It makes me incredibly proud of my state party for endorsing progressive, non-incumbent candidates and setting an example. And I absolutely love that it's making sure racists get no rest in the meantime. So as a proud, rural, mayo-colored Minnesotan, hail Allah, I guess, or whatever pisses you racist snowflakes off. What is it that you always tell us? If you don't love it, leave it. Now, I'm sure Alabama or Russia would be happy to have you.